a whole team. And I want to throw a thank you out to Chuck Christie, who's given us the production capability to be on the show now. And as a little announcement, we're going to have tremendous things coming in the next months or so, where Chuck is going to give us the capability, and Dave's Connect platform, that's the website platform that he donates to Right Thinking. We're going to be able to post videos, Vimeo, YouTube type things where we can address certain topics that we're talking about and really get further into it. So I encourage all the listeners. This is part of the answer, I guess. Each one of us has a way to contribute something, and it's usually different. Dave's got much that he's contributing. He contributes the website, the technology. Chuck is contributing production capability. But if you join rightthink.org, if you go to rightthink.org, www.rightthink.org, and then you can register into the Right Think website, you will be a member, so to speak. You're not going to get solicited in any way, but you will have the ability to contact me. And if you like Dave Richards, I can connect you with Dave Richards on the internet. And we can all start to form support groups. So what I'm getting at is these pastors that I've often said, well, they get them all spiritually ready, believing what they need to do and trusting in the Lord, which is a fundamental. But are they given tools? Well, maybe they're not supposed to be the ones that give the tools. Maybe it's somebody like me that heard a pastor that got motivated that wants to, in other words, pass it on. So, Dave, I'm going to pass it on to you with that theme, is how we connect. Because, Dave, you've got a software platform called Connect, and you are one of the, I'll tell you, for you listeners, it's an international platform. He's got 20 or 30,000 users. States, universities, municipalities all use it. Dave knows how to connect things, and he believes in the power of connecting with one another. So, Dave, teach it to us.
Well, I'm gonna jump back to the first part of your question. What do you say to people that go out there and try and fall down, and you say to them, get back up? And really, Frankl talks a lot about this. He's very frank about it. Basically, he says life is hard. Life is a lot of stumbles. Life is a lot of hurdles to overcome. It's tough. It's challenging. So if you're going in thinking it's going to be easy and whatever, the answer is it's not easy for anybody. It's everybody is fighting this battle. Some have it easier than others, but undoubtedly someone has it worse than you. So I guess I say that the expectation is, if your expectation is it's going to be easy and you're just going to go out and make huge gains without, struggle and failure, you've got to readjust your mind. And if that sounds harsh, I think it's reality. And I think on one of the very first shows I shared with Steve, a couple of my favorite quotes or passages. And one is by Teddy Roosevelt, and you can go Google this and find it. It's called "The Man in the Arena."
Yep.
It's great. I read it at least once a week, maybe some weeks once a day. And there's one of the lines from it, and I'll just read it to you because I think it's great. It's, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming." And there's more. But that's the truth. I mean, the answer is yeah. The people I admire the most are the people that keep getting up and they keep thinking creatively and they keep figuring out, they got a vision in mind. They know where they're going to try to get to. They're like Steve. Steve wanted to do this 50 years ago. He thought about it. 50 years he's been working towards this. And now he's here. And that's the pretty common path that successful people do. They just don't give up. Because once you give up, well, that's kind of the end. So the answer is you can't give up. And don't think it's going to be easy. So it can be easy, and good things will come. But you're going to have challenges. And I've said this before, and I believe this. If you happen to live in the United States of America, you have 99% fewer challenges than people that live in 99% of the rest of this world. This is a pretty privileged place. You have the ability to go out and fail. You have the ability to go out and succeed. You control so much. The decisions are yours. You're not living in a communist government where they're telling you what to think and what to do. You're in control, and it is your life.
Oh, geez. You know, the stuff we're talking about, Dave, we're all saying the same thing. That's a phrase that I've used over and over again. People that understand what we're talking about, that have made a choice to not quit, not give up, make the most out of the freedom that we have, you get it from many, many different directions, but it's very, very simple. And basically, I think I can reduce it down to just a word or two. Personal responsibility. If we want to take personal responsibility for ourselves, and if the buck stops here, then we ought to learn ways to succeed, surround ourselves with the right people. We got a whole show on that with Don Green from the Napoleon Hill Foundation on the Mastermind Group. And you've given advice on one of your shows, Dave, about the importance of working, getting that first job so that you can start to have some independence, and success breeds success. So it's almost like preaching to the choir, saying the same thing over again. But when you get right down to it, there's a reason why some people read the same books over and over again, because they're not spiritually mature enough or just mature enough emotionally to see something that's right there in front of them. But if they clear the air, sometimes it's right there. Well, I've told the nerd story a bunch of times. You remember that. And last time I told it, I didn't give the same ending. When the nerd looks in the mirror and he turns to the guy that wants him to go hang out on the street corner, he goes, no, I don't want to go. I got a job interview tomorrow, and I find that if I get a better night's sleep, I do better in a job interview. And besides, I'm working on my plan. I'm trying to put my budget together. And by the way, that street you want me to go hang on, that's a one-way street going to nowhere. That's a choice that I'm not making anymore. So, Dave, there's a lot of stuff in choices. You told me just yesterday that you think I'm finally finding my sweet spot, hitting my stride, that my message about choices and giving people just motivation on making the better choices, surrounding yourself with the right people, etc., and then give them some kind of tool. And the tool starts with taking responsibility for yourself, get a job, pay your bills, honor your commitment. These are the things we talk about every week.
Yes, a couple of thoughts just jump to mind. One is I'll tell a short story on one of my sons, actually my older son, and I love both my sons for lots of reasons. But a couple of things that they've done, you just go, wow, they make you proud. And so one of them, my oldest son, when he was, went off to college, and it was the very, very first semester, and we're there for Parents' Weekend. This is first semester freshman year. We're there in October, so he's been there all of a month and a half, and we he's obviously comfortable. He's got friends, so and all that. And so I said to him, so what do you think? How do you like the experience? And you're in college, and he said, Dad, I don't think I'm going to finish here. And I went, wow. Yeah. That then goes, well, talk to me about that. And so he basically said, this is not, and he was doing fine. His grades were fine, but he basically realized that he was in a school that it wasn't, I can't think of a better word. It was too social. It was too much partying, too much. And he found himself, and my son's a very social kid, so this is not a wallflower type kid. He just said, this is not how I picture my life. This is not the group I want to be around. And he said, they're good people. And I said, well, okay, got it. So let's finish the semester out. He was only about a third of the way through. We spent a lot of money. And so he finished the semester out, did fine academically, and left. And from a very nice school. And his thought was, I'm going to go, and I thought it was great. He went and lived with his grandmother on a mountaintop, a little house, and went to the local community college for a semester. And he would say to this day, it was the best decision he made to leave, and it was the best decision he made to go to the community college because all the people there were learning for the right reason. And so anyways, incredibly proud because he realized the influences around him weren't what he wanted. He made the decision at 18 years old, 19 years old, to get into a different stream, a different group of people around him. And that's it. You've got to get yourself out of bad influences in many cases, if not bad influences, suboptimal influences, and get into, you have that decision. You can do that today, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. You have another 20, 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you. Get yourself in with a better set of influences and make the decision to go. And it won't be easy. You may leave some friends behind, but you have that choice. So again, these are very, very practical, everyday decisions that people are making all the time to try to improve their life. And you have that choice to do that.
You know, Dave, you're very fortunate that, was it Bond or Alex that was that?
That was Bond.
Yeah. I know Bond very, very well. I met him when he was about 7 years old. And is he 26? How old is he?
27.
Yeah. So I've known Bond for 20 years. That's how I met Dave. His wife, Janie, was a karate student of mine, and she brought her son, and she liked it so much, and she stayed with it for a couple of years. And Dave's never really appreciated me because I trained his wife, and Dave's very humble to his wife all the time because she'll straighten him right out. Well, but that story that Dave just told about, that really wasn't the people he wanted to associate with. Let me say this. If there's any one thing that we all have to do to be successful in life it's our associations, is to be very, very careful about our associations. And, I came along and, I told you I had a lot of detours, and I'm a 60s product. Graduated high school in 1969. I went to early rock festivals back then, and, I loved the Beatles and things like that. Well, I had a couple really, really close friends, and they're both passed away right now, but they never changed from going in a direction that was not a direction that stable-minded adults that want to make something in their lives ought to do. And so people say, hey, how come you don't hang out with him anymore? I won't even tell you their names, but the point is, I love these guys, but they were going down the wrong path, and I talked to them, and that was their choice. And I miss them. I don't just miss them because they've passed away. I miss them because after 20, 25 years of close friendship with both these people, I chose not to hang out with them anymore because I just didn't respect their choices. So just remember that. Dave, one of the most profound things that Viktor Frankl said that I brought out in the show on choices, he said that because you have complete control of how you view your attitude in any situation, he said, try this for a way to change, to get yourself to change. Look at yourself as if you were like an old person, like I think 82, 85 years old. Look back at yourself and evaluate whether you're satisfied with what you see. And if you're not, just let that personality die and just start another one. Just go into it. And basically just start over any time you want. That's what he said. There's nothing stopping you from starting over. So my way of tying all this together is basically, if you can hear people that care about you, that can encourage you, that have wisdom that you respect, and you start to get into their thinking, if you start listening to them, remember this. Even though you think it's going to be the most uphill, difficult journey you've ever attempted, and that you don't think you're man or woman enough to do it, you're wrong. You're wrong. As long as you've got breath in you, you can change. I read a book once, I'll reference it on another show, but it was Change Yourself and Everybody Around You. That's a pretty good direction to take. Don't wait for other people to change. Blame it on other people. You change. So Dave, in your mind,